Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lee Kai, or you can just call me Lee. So today we are going to be doing part 2 of the mental hospital story time. Well, first, trigger warning. There are dark subjects in this video, and if you aren't on the right headspace, save this video to watch later and come back when you're in the right headspace to watch it. So today we're going to be talking about my experience in Old Vineyard Behavioral Health, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. If I look over here, it's because I have a document so I don't forget everything. I was admitted to the actual facility September 3rd, 2025, but I was in the ER for 4 days before. Again, I'm not explaining why I was there. That's a story for another day. I was in the ER for 4 days, and then I got transferred by another sheriff to there, which was, I will say, a 5-hour drive. In handcuffs in the back of a car. I had pressure injuries from it on my back where I couldn't sit or lay down without pain for over a week from it. So the whole time I was at Old Vineyard, I couldn't sit or lay down comfortably. And I also have chronic knee pain, so it was also... So I was 15 when I went sent to Old Vineyard. Again, not explaining why. They did my intake as normal, and I sat in the lobby for a couple hours until they took me to the bathroom to do the scan search, which is if you're wondering, but they did not give me a gown this time, but they did give me a lot more privacy that time. So they told me to face the wall while I did it, and then I had to cover up when I turned around so they could check for scars. So yeah. And basically they just check for scars and they write down every single mark. I don't know if I saw that in the last video. They write down every single mark. They did not make me jump, squat, and cough like Carolina Dunes. So slay. And they didn't make any inappropriate comments, so slay. Again, ignore my nails. So the Old Vineyard, the unit I was in the Adams unit, which is a high risk unit, teen AFAB people. So, but it was high risk. And there was 2 hallways. I don't know what the right hallway looked like. I've never went in there. I was in the left hallway in the back, cause the left hallway, it was like split where the back had like 4 rooms, so like 8 kids, and then the front there was a door, but it never locked. And there was like 18 kids in there in the front, but they were separated, so we were technically 2 different units. So, yeah. And there was only 1 staff in there at a time. 1 in the back, 1 in the front. We'll get into that in a minute. So yeah. Both hallways go to the nurses station, because it's the same nurses station, which is kind of like the lobby, but like it's the lobby in the unit, because there's a lobby outside the unit too for like visitors, but the lobby for actual kids, that's where the nurses station was, where they would take your vitals, where therapy offices were, where the cafeteria was, and all that. So yeah. I got to the unit. I did have all my clothes when they took me to the unit. They went through my clothes in front of me and just gave them to me. So that was nice. I didn't have to change a different scrub. They let me just change into my regular clothes the second I got there, which was nice. So, yeah. I was taking the unit, shown around, met all the girls. showed my room, explained the schedule. I do not have a copy of the schedule. I'm sorry, I can't explain it. We did have more freedom than Carolina Dunes. But there was no treatment. Allegedly. Don't sue me. So, we had group therapy daily, if you could even call it therapy. And we, did whatever. There was art one. We did an art group. Like other groups about like things we need to stop. There's a lot in the folder that they gave me, and I don't have to be in another video because I will not have time in this video. But one day we made sugar scrubs and lip balm. And then the other part of the treatment was the passport to success, which I'm just gonna explain. I'm just gonna show you that now because I cannot. Okay. So this is the passport to success. Okay, I'm trying to cover my name. Okay. And these are all on the front worksheets that we had to do. And then every time you did a worksheet, you gave it to the staff and they wrote how many points, 1 to 5, you get. And then they signed it and dated it, and then you got points. And then the point system, you had, like, suitcase where you could, like, redeem them for things in suitcase. I don't have the stuff I got from suitcase with me. I got a worry stone and a deck of cards. It's over there. I just not grabbing it because I do use those daily. And then the back of that is also like chores and all that stuff. They also signed for, and you also got 2 points for each of these for like making your bed, straightening your personal area and bedroom, make hygiene. And then you also got points for groups and healthy boundaries, being respectful. School, that was another thing. Cleaning, following directions. That type of stuff. I can go more into detail about this. I have a lot of points. So I will go into more detail about that in the next video. So yeah, that was basically the treatment. We never saw a therapist, which was the caseworker, which we actually could talk to for other things besides medication. There was a doctor. We're not gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna start with therapy first. So we went for initial intake, like after intake, the initial like, why are you here? All that good stuff and treatment plans and all that. And then you go for your family session, and then discharge session, which is just where you sign all these papers to make a safety plan, all that stuff. Which, yeah. So yeah. And we did see the doctor daily. The doctor office was in the unit. The doctor really only cared about discharge, about you getting discharged, you staying there, and medication. That's all they really care about is medication. And they're like, how are you doing on your medication? All that stuff. And then we'll put you on medication. If you're not already on medication, most people end up on medication in those facilities if you're not already. So if you're wondering. And you saw them daily. Just sometimes they ask you to bring your passport and all your worksheets in, or as they called it, individual daily therapeutic assignments. And no, I'm not covering their signatures. I don't care. I'm covering my name, but I ain't covering the staff's name. I don't care. This public information, if you go on their website, it's their staff, so I'm not I don't care. In the unit. Well, before we get to that, the unit. So, the back hall was 4 bedrooms and a day room, which the day room, and all the windows were also had an opaque frosted thing on it, so you couldn't see out of it. Also, but most of the units in the unit went to the courtyard. Anyway, that's not really anything special. The courtyard was in our unit, so we didn't have to leave the unit, like the hall, to the courtyard. The courtyard was just the same as Caroline Dunes. It's just a prison courtyard type of shit. So yeah. And that's basically the unit. The chairs aren't bolted down like Caroline Dunes, but they're hard plastic chairs. I'm not going to show you what they look like in this video. They're in the last video, if you're wondering. So go watch the other video, too. You don't have to watch that. Finish this video, and then go watch that video. I might link it in somewhere. If I don't, sorry, go to my... It should be the last thing I posted before this. So yeah. The food, so the cafeteria was in the unit building, but not in the hallway units. The cafeteria, the food was pretty good. It was like actual good homemade food. Yeah, I didn't like everything, but I mean, there was always something I could eat there though, which was nice. They didn't like listening to me when I asked for like insures though. If like I didn't like anything, I was like, can I have an insure? They were like, I'll ask the nurse, and then I never got them. Sometimes I got them, sometimes I didn't. Eventually they decided to give me insures twice a day or whatever, but sometimes they didn't. I don't have a eating disorder. By the way, I don't, but yeah, I just don't like a lot of things, and it was just a whole thing. And my social anxiety was bad at the time. So yeah. So back in the unit, the stories. We had lots of code whites, lots of codes in general. And not just our unit, in all the units in the entire facilities campus, I guess. Because like different buildings had different units in it. So, but the building I was in just had the admin unit. So yeah. I'll explain what the codes mean in a minute. So there was a lot of fights. Girls get jumped a lot. People end up having feuds. They try to date each other. A girl jumped another girl from one in the front, one in the back or something. Jumped a girl and almost got the person's head stuck in between the door. Between the front and the back hall. And that girl punched through the glass on the door to the courtyard, which is bulletproof glass. That girl did get the booty juice. So, if you don't know what the booty juice is, people don't know. It's basically a sedative injection. So yeah. It depends on the place exactly what it is, because I know some places it's Tylenol, other places other things, or mixtures. But yeah, there they did it in the arm, but like all the staff members did it wrong, and like every kid had most kids that got it had allergic reactions kind of in it, where their arm would swell up and would hurt like, because it's not supposed to be injected in your arm. It's called the booty juice for a reason. Not supposed to go in your arm. It's an IM. It's not supposed to go in your arm. And it would itch and a lot of things. I never got it. Clock it. But, yeah. I watched it. And the staff gave them an ice pack and Benadryl, and that's it. And then basically ignored the kid. One kid had a reaction for over a week, and it wouldn't go away. They wouldn't do anything about it. So that was a thing. I have a lot of stories about this place. Codes. The codes. So we had a lot of code whites, which code whites just means like fight or disturbance or whatever. So we were very, because we were in the back, we never really had code whites, but like the front did. So we always like looked through the door and was like, what's happening? We were very nosy. There was a lot of fights, kids screaming, staff not doing anything besides get to that. And then one day, one lovely day, it was after dinner. We had a code silver for the front of the hall, which means of some sort, which could literally just be a pencil in that type of place, by the way, because it's a locked facility. It was probably just a pencil or something. I don't exactly know. I watched it happen, but I still have no clue. So this girl, I don't remember these people's name, was holding something from the front of the hall, ran to the back, did a circle. Some other girl was chasing her, trying to get it out of her hand, because this girl was trying to be was actually trying to take care of people, more than the staff did, to be honest. But yeah, and this whole thing, it was kind of entertaining, to be honest. And then there was like a full-on fight, and then this girl tried to jump someone else after that, and it was a whole thing, and trying to get back, and then people were scared, so a lot of things happened, and then we heard this from the back. This nurse, named Mr. Paul, I believe. Yes, I'm name dropping Mr. Paul. Said to this kid, while holding the booty juice. And that specific nurse, terrible nurse. We didn't get our meds that night till like 12. That's a whole nother thing. So, and he came to the back to check on us, make sure the person that was fighting didn't get to any of us. We were fine. And multiple of us were like, you threatened this kid. And he was like, no, I didn't. And then walked away. You don't know how much I wanted to throw a chair at the bit. I wish I did. Don't do that. By the way, you will get booty juice and sent to isolation. So yeah. So that's fun. I did not have any piercings at the time when I was there, so I don't know how that was with that, if you're wondering. So the unit also, in the day room, we had a box of snacks, usually at all times. And then we had 2 jugs, usually, sometimes it's only water. Sometimes there's water and apple juice, depending on the day. Like, usually we get apple juice and water in the morning, water for lunch, after lunch, and then dinner. Sometimes we get, like, a soda or opposite, whatever. So we did, and we always had apple juice on the unit, but we went through that shit very quickly. Again, the cups that we had to drink out of were like this tiny, okay? This is a cup from that facility. This says Mental Hospital Paper Stars, if you're wondering. I also made them there. Some of them my cat got too, but lots of paper stars. Because the group person finally brought us paper to make paper stars. So I made a bunch. So yeah. And I already knew how to make them, so yeah. So we would watch movies because we had a Roku TV, which I don't know if I mentioned this in the other video, but the TVs in the unit are bolted in and plexiglass is covering everything, so you can't get to it. We did have the remote. We weren't supposed to have the remote, but they gave it to us anyway. And we watched movies, listened to music. We had YouTube, Tubi, Pluto. We had someone's Netflix account that signed in. We had one of the staff's Hulu account. Don't ask. But the actual facility didn't have any. Caroline Dunes, I did have Disney Plus. But we watched the documentary on Netflix hold on. I looked it up. It's called Unknown Numbers. We watched it in there. We were all shook to the core. I recommend watching it if you haven't. It's on Netflix. Crazy. We watched that. We watched Piano Man or something. And some other like historic movie type things. And some other things. We listen to music a lot on YouTube. So yeah, some staff wouldn't let us watch specific things if they were rated. Some staff would let us watch MA, some wouldn't. Some wouldn't even let us watch PG-13. Even though everyone was 13 plus. It was, 12 was the lowest age in there, but there was no one there that was 12 in the back. But yeah. So that was something. We still watched it. What is it called? Black Cake. We watched the whole series. It's on Hulu. And it was like, we called it our show. We also named the TV 17. And if you talked nice to it, it would work. Sometimes, because TV didn't like to work. If you're wondering, TV did not like to work. Internet sucked in there. So during meds, because we had meds at night and during the day, you couldn't sleep until they called you up for meds because they asked you if you wanted sleeping meds. So you had to stay up until then, or they will wake you up to ask you if you want melatonin. Sometimes we didn't get our meds till 11 or 12, and bedtime was at 9:30. So we didn't even get our meds until after bedtime. We weren't supposed to be out of bed. At 9:30, we were supposed to be in bed or in our rooms, at least. But one day during meds, we did have school. Did I mention that? So this girl, we were talking, right, in the hallway. And this girl said something about wanting to see if the staff would do anything if she, in the hallway. And she didn't. It was just a joke. But yeah. And the nurse was right there. Did not bat an eye, did not care. And I was like, yeah, I don't think they would care. Obviously, I mean, the nurse was right there and didn't do shit, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, dislike, comment, whatever the fuck. Okay, do all the things. All my other social medias are linked somewhere on my thing. Go follow me. It's Lee Kai on TikTok. There's an underscore somewhere. It's Lee_Kai on TikTok. And it's Lee Kai _official on Instagram. So yeah, go follow me. But I hope you have a really good day, and let me know if you want a part 3 for going through the folders and the notebooks and going a little bit more in depth about the actual facility and not just my experiences. Okay. Bye, guys.